TV's Rob here. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First and foremost, it's free. We all like free, right? There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, making it a lot easier than the way that I go about it. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more, saving you the time, energy, and effort of having to do it yourself. It is a pain. You can make money from your podcast as well with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And if you start up a podcast using Anchor, I'll be your first guest.
Rob, wake up. No. Rob, wake up. No. TV's Rob is unwoke. TV's Rob is unwoke. He's unwoke.
Yes, that's right. It is that time again. I'm TV's Rob, and this is TV's Rob is Unwoke, the podcast where basically I talk about whatever I want and I don't make any type of apologies for it. Hence the title, Unwoke. It's amazing how that works, isn't it? Firstly, guys, I have to thank you for your patience this week on getting an episode out. It has been an absolutely crazy week. I tweeted about this yesterday saying that the downside to working 3 jobs and still having a freelance thing on top of it is you don't get a whole lot of time for yourself. And over the weekend, when I typically record, I didn't get a chance to. So I appreciate your patience. Try not to do that again in the future, but I probably will. But hey, this past weekend, I got to talk about it real quick. My goddaughter turned 3. I know, it's crazy. She makes me feel old. And she had a birthday party. And I didn't realize that turning 3 in the Hispanic culture was such a big deal. I guess it's more of the Catholic culture. But nonetheless, she looked absolutely adorable in her little dress. And as the godfather and godparents, Nikki and I were responsible for presenting her with a tiara and some sparkly shoes. And I guess this is also the birthday where you're supposed to be presented with your first Bible and a few other things. It was crazy. There was this big ceremony before we can really start to party. It was really crazy. But I noticed something at this party. Man, America is racist as hell. Oh my God. First and foremost, my goddaughter is of mixed parentage. Her father is Hispanic, mother is white. So obviously at this party, there were Hispanics and there were white people, but there were also some black people who were longtime friends of my cousin. And I tell you, you get all those groups of people together in one area, whew, it turns violent really quick. Oh, so much racism, so much division. I mean, I still have to get my left arm reattached after it was amputated in one of the several knife fights that broke out. It was horrific. So much blood, so much violence. Nah, I'm just kidding. There was none of that. I mean, you had white people, you had Hispanics, and you had black people all in the same area, all together. And we were all talking, laughing, getting to know each other because I had never met half of the people that were there. And everybody had a very interesting story in terms of who they were, where they came from, what they're doing, what their education, their work, everything. It was really great. And I really got to see what America really is. It's not the country that Joe Biden and other politicians make it out to be. It really is a great place to be. It really is a cultural melting pot where we can all get together and celebrate things as one country. And my goddaughter served as the perfect reminder to me of what America really is. And I had a great time. It turned into a really late night. I mean, birthday cake at 10 o'clock at night for a 3-year-old? Are you kidding me? Insane. But then the weekend ended and it was back to reality. And it was back to the same old daily assault on how racist we all are, how white people are bad. We had the G7 summit where Joe Biden made a total ass of himself and showed America to be weak and begging for Russia and other countries to take advantage of us, really. That's what he did the entire time he was in Geneva. He basically bent over, grabbed the ankles, and just asked for some spit as lube. And this weekend, we commemorate Juneteenth. And there are now companies out there giving Juneteenth off as a company holiday as if it's a national thing, saying that they hope that employees will take the time to reflect and think about what they can do to combat systemic racism in America. A far cry from what I was experiencing this past weekend. I want to pause for a second to talk about protein bars. We've all seen them, and we've most likely tried a few of them while trying to lose weight or just get healthier. But what's the biggest problem with all of them? Well, basically, they all taste like crap. They're hard to chew, they taste awful, and they don't provide any type of actual satisfaction. But I'm happy to say that I have found one out there that isn't anything like the rest, and that is Built Bar. Built Bar is healthier than all those other protein bars. They're low calorie, low sugar, high protein, high fiber. They're great for keto diet. Lose or maintain weight while indulging in a delicious treat. Each bar contains only 110, 160 calories, 16 to 20 grams of protein, and 3 to 5 net carbs. Enjoy the healthiest thing you'll do today. When you eat a Built Bar, you feel better about yourself because healthy has never been this delicious. Built Bars are a lot like a candy bar, but good for you. They have 18 different flavors, including some of my own personal favorites: cookies and cream, strawberry, peanut butter, and mint brownie. All of their bars are covered in 100% chocolate. So you're probably saying to yourself, TV's Rob, how do I get these? Where do I go? All you got to do, go to BuiltBar.com, use the promo code TV's Rob to get 10% off your next order. Use promo code TV's Rob for 10% off at BuiltBar.com. Trust me, you'll love them. I do. BuiltBar.com, promo code TV's Rob. Well, my friends, we've reached the end of an era. The end of a very sexy era. The era of the Victoria's Secret Angels is now gone. May we all take a moment to reflect upon that with a moment of silence. Gone are the likes of Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell, Heidi Klum, Giselle, Adriana Lima, Alessandra Ambrosio, Miranda Kerr, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Those women, they're gone. Nope, no more. No more hotties for Victoria's Secret. No. It's time that we look upon the modern woman. So what do we get in the place of these women? Megan Rapinoe. You know her. You love her. And Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Yes. Because that is just perfect for Victoria's Secret, right? Right? The embattled fashion brand has ignited another social media firestorm after the news broke that the lingerie company is nixing its iconic Runway Angels collective in favor of women who are famous for their achievements and not their proportions. The label revealed to the New York Times that it is partnered with actress Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Megan Rapinoe, and others as part of its new inclusive VS Collective initiative. And I'm just going to say real quick, anytime you say collective, this is what I think of.
We are the Borg. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
Yeah, resistance is futile. That's really how it's becoming. Chief Brand Executive Martin Waters said, "When the world was changing, we were too slow to respond," addressing long-standing criticism against the brand for its lack of inclusion and specific catering to the male fantasy with its ad campaigns and runway show. We needed to stop being about what men want and to be about what women want. Ladies, let me ask you a question. If you're going into a store to buy lingerie in the first place, are you buying it for you? Or are you buying it for the man in your life? Or woman in your life? I don't know. Are you buying it for yourself? Are you buying it to please your partner? That's what I thought. Let me know. Send me a message. Anchor.fm/TV's Rob Unwoke /message. Leave a message. I'll play your reactions. And if you want to come on the show and you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Let's hash it out. Now, as I said, the VS Collective, the VS Borg, will take the place of the Angels, a lineage of curvy models like Heidi Klum and Tyra Banks, who help propel the brand into the mainstream stratosphere as they advise and promote the brand through ads and on Instagram. Really? Whatever. They say they are working on expanding Victoria's Secret's product line to include new garments that will debut next spring. One new member of this new collective wants the brand to increase its sizing all the way up to a 5XL. Look, at that point, you don't need lingerie. You need muumuus by Jeffy, because Jeffy is fashion. Now, Megan Rapinoe, in all her infinite wisdom, revealed that she was initially curious as to why the brand would want to partner with her. Which, honestly, I wonder why the brand would really want to partner with her, too. If you have any questions, look up her Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition shoot and her ESPN magazine body issue shoot, and tell me if she's really a good fit for Victoria's Secret. But Rapinoe said, given its track record for representation, said that the brand's former identity was, quote, really harmful, unquote, to women, and represented a patriarchal, sexist perspective marketed at young men. Not just in terms of what it meant to be sexy, but what the clothes were trying to accomplish through a male lens and through what men desired. Again, I call BS on this, because I'm guessing that a lot of times women are buying this stuff so they can feel better about themselves. How is that harmful to women? But I still think that you're buying it to please your partner, but that's okay. And you're probably using your husband's credit card to do it. So yeah, market to the men. They're the ones that have to pay the bill when it's due. So Victoria's Secret, while you've been shutting down stores and reducing staffing and just basically going through a hard time over the past few years, I don't think your road is going to get any better at this point. So happy trails, Victoria's Secret.
I feel like he's going to learn how to win. He's got the talent. We would not have invested in him and picked him if he didn't have the talent to win. By the end of the year, I think he's going to have an opportunity and probably will win at least a couple of races. If it's more, I'll be elated.
That voice right there is the voice of his airness, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, MJ. Oh, man. That clip came from right before the start of the NASCAR season. You know, just a few months after Jordan had announced that he was going to be a team owner and Bubba Wallace was going to be his driver. In an interview on Fox Sports with Michael Strahan, that's what Michael Jordan said. And throughout preseason, it was, yeah, we're going to win a couple of races. Sounding all cocky and arrogant. Oh, yeah, Bubba's going to get it done. Well, Well, not so much. Here we are, 16 races into the NASCAR Cup Series season. And what have we got to show so far? Michael Jordan, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, 2311 Racing. What do you have to show for it? Now, I bring this up because we're 16 races into the season. The way the NASCAR season works, there's 26 races that's considered the regular season, and then there's a 10-race playoff. We are currently 16 races in. We only have 10 races left until the playoffs start. In order to qualify for the playoffs, you have to either be in the top 16 in points, or you have to have won a race to qualify. And those spots fill up quick. So where does Bubba Wallace check in on the point standings and the wins column? Let's take a look and see. We are 16 races in. His stats so far: 0 wins, 0 poles, 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s, 46 laps led. Yay, 46 laps led. With 298 points, he's behind his team owner, Denny Hamlin, 366 points. He is 5 spots below a playoff spot. So, I have to ask again, Your Airness, Michael Jordan, what do you think of your team so far? Well, a couple weeks ago, Michael Jordan made a trip out to the track. He finally showed up to a race at Sonoma Raceway, and he had to watch his team struggle. Blown tire, caught a lap down for most of the race, salvaged a pretty decent finish, all things considered. He did finish 14th. He started 15th, so he netted a whole position. Woo! Really tearing it up there. Let me tell you, Bubba, you're doing wonderful. But of course, Michael Jordan said before the start of the season how he wouldn't be surprised to see his driver, Darrell, make it to victory lane a couple of times. But through these first 16 races, the 23 car hasn't had a sniff at winning, much less finishing even in the top 10. When you are driving for a team that gets its cars from Joe Gibbs Racing, its engines from Toyota Racing Development, and you have won in NASCAR before in the lower series, and you've been in the Cup Series for a few years, you are expected to go out and win. The type of alliance that 2311 Racing, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan have with Joe Gibbs is very much akin to that of what Furniture Row Racing had a few years ago with a driver by the name of Martin Truex Jr., who went out and won the 2017 Cup Series championship. That's what you're expected to do in this caliber of equipment. And Wallace has not performed. So Jordan shows up at Sonoma, and he wanted to do kind of a mid-season performance in review. Based on what he saw, the NBA Hall of Famer now knows that his early season expectations were wildly exaggerated. Multiple mistakes, which have dogged the team for much of the season, shows that there's a lot of work left to do. But Jordan also said that he saw several positive signs indicating that the team is headed in the right direction. Really? Are they? Are they? What he's seeing is obviously a rookie team making rookie mistakes. That's what happens with rookies. But although this is a rookie team, as in all of them together, there's nobody on that team that's a rookie. They all have numerous years of experience in NASCAR. His crew chief has plenty of years of experience as a NASCAR crew chief. Bubba himself, several years as a driver. So with all of that said, what could 2311 Racing be thinking going forward? How do we tweak the team? How do we get better cars? How do we work on our pit stops? How do we work on the engines? How do we work on the chassis setups? How do we improve communication between crew chief Mike Wheeler and driver Daryl Bubba Wallace? You would think that that's where they would start. They would say, let's look at what we're doing here and let's build. Let's figure out all the kinks and let's work this out. I guess that's one thing that they're doing. But it seems that their solution to the problem is to expand to a second car in 2022. Advantageous because there will be a new car. That also proves to be a huge disadvantage because you'll have two drivers driving a brand new car. But expanding to a two-car team. So, who would you get to drive a second car? Now, your first choice was obvious, and you picked them for obvious reasons. But who do you get for a second car? Well, right now, it looks like the top candidate is 2004 Cup Series champion Kurt Busch, who is on the tail end of his career, but can still get the job done. Has that veteran leadership, has that veteran presence, who understands the cars. He has tested the next gen car, the car that will be debuting in 2022. Kurt Busch is in a contract year with his current team, Chip Ganassi Racing. He has sponsorship from Monster Energy Drink that will follow him if he decided to go to a new team. So you have that budget, you have that influx of cash right from the get-go. And you have a guy who could become a mentor of sorts to Bubba Wallace, which I find funny because I thought his team owner should be a mentor. I mean, Denny Hamlin's been racing in the Cup Series since 2006. Now, granted, he hasn't won that championship. He is this generation's Mark Martin, aka the best driver to never win it all. He gets so close. Championship 4 appearances, top 5, top 3 finishes in the point standings, but he can't seem to finish the job. Maybe Denny can learn from MJ how to actually win a championship. But you would think that Hamlin would be the mentor on the driving side. What is Hamlin doing? Is he just playing golf all week with MJ while Bubba is off doing his thing? I don't know what's going on here. But the Kurt Busch to 2311 story simply will not die. If Kurt Busch decides to go through with it, I think that is a big mistake. I think that is a step back. I think that is a downgrade, not because of the equipment. I think the equipment would actually potentially be an upgrade. But with Kurt Busch being 42 years old and at the tail end of his career, Chip Ganassi Racing offers other avenues of racing than just NASCAR. IndyCar, various other forms. Chip Ganassi races in them all. 2311 does not. So Kurt Busch would kind of be limiting his future options there. But who knows, maybe he will find mentoring this young driver to be the thing that he really wants to do with the rest of his career. I don't see that happening. I think he still wants to go out, win races, and contend for at least one more championship to match his brother Kyle, who has 2 to Kurt Busch's 1. But MJ, you show up to 2 races this year, your driver doesn't really perform in either one. So I have to pose the question, your airness, when do you start to think that maybe you chose the wrong driver for your team? I'm not talking the expansion. I'm talking the team that you started. The very first driver you chose. Do you think maybe you got that one wrong? When do you start to think that? Or do you just ride it until the sponsors disappear like they did Danica Patrick? Because that day will come. And one last little thing on NASCAR. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoy it. And it's my show. So deal with it. I have to give props and kudos to Rick Hendrick, owner of Hendrick Motorsports, for taking a chance, knowing that sponsors would be hesitant and outright refusing to sponsor a driver like Kyle Larson. Thank you, Rick Hendrick, for bringing Kyle Larson back into the NASCAR Cup Series after what happened last year during the COVID lockdowns, where Kyle Larson did say an unfortunate word during an iRacing event that was not being televised, not a NASCAR-sanctioned event, but he did say the word that you shouldn't say. We all know what that word is. He lost his ride, he lost his sponsors, and it looked like he was going to be without a livelihood. Well, Rick Hendrick took a chance, hired Kyle Larson, and Kyle Larson is paying it back immensely. 3 points paying wins. An all-star race win worth $1 million. Young money Kyle Larson kicking ass in NASCAR Cup Series competition this year. Proving that if he had the right equipment, he can really take it to the top. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Kyle Larson making a deep playoff run this year and possibly winning his very first Cup Series championship, which would be just straight up awesome. And for the most part, sponsors are still not lining up to sponsor him. They've signed Valvoline for a couple of races this year, but that's it. Everything else is some sort of Hendrick-owned company being represented on that car. Kyle Larson has become the best billboard Rick Hendrick could ever ask for. Straight dominating races. Over 1,000 laps led this year. So Rick Hendrick, I salute you. You're kind of my hero right now.
Baby, if you've ever wondered whatever became of me. I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP.
Now, I'm sorry to end the show on a sad note, but I felt it was necessary considering the impact shows like WKRP had on me and the fact that I'm in the world of broadcasting. Fictional as hell, but fun as hell as well. Frank Bonner, the actor who played Herb Tarlick, the tactless radio station sales manager on WKRP in Cincinnati, has died. He was 79. He died Wednesday at his home in Laguna Niguel, California, of complications from Lewy body dementia, his wife Gail told The Hollywood Reporter. He was also in St. Augustine's Academy, Just the 10 of Us, a spinoff of Growing Pains. Pretty sure you guys are pretty familiar with that. But the role I know him best for was him playing the inept but lovable Herb Tarlick, who was quite fond of polyester, plaid, and Lonnie Anderson. When I think about WKRP in Cincinnati and Frank Bonner's role as Herb, there are certain things that really stick out to me. His way of writing ad copy, his constant back and forth with Les Nesman, the way he referred to his boss as big guy, and just his overall rapport and the way that he thought he was a ladies' man, but it always seemed to go wrong. I'm going to share with you a clip of one of my favorite scenes involving him, where he's giving sage advice to Dr. Johnny Fever and program director Andy on women.
Hey, Herb, why don't you give us your professional advice on women?
You really want to know?
Sure, why not?
Okay. First, you get yourself a plan. Now, what's the one thing that all plans just scream out for?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
An objective. That's the one thing that all plans have to have, an objective. And when it comes to dating, we all know what that is.
Friendship? Pleasant evening.
Hey, if you guys are going to kid around with me...
Oh, wait, no, come on, we're sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. You take a woman to a nice place. N-I-C-E. Now that says I like you, you're important to me, and by bringing you here, You know I like nice things and that I have very high standards, and one of them is you. You joke, you kid around, and you hope that that rare connection will happen when the both of you instinctively know that the same river that flows past her door flows past yours. And it's not a sexual thing, actually, but it is romantic, with all the excitement and sheer human fun that goes along with it. But the important thing is not just letting a woman know that you want her, but letting her know that she can have you in a very non-threatening, totally natural, loving way.
What else?
Yeah, what then?
Come on now, you guys know.
No, tell us.
You get her drunk, stupid.
Thank you for the laughs and the memories, Frank. You will be missed. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of TV's Rob is Unwoke. I am TV's Rob. If you're listening to the show on Apple Podcasts, please go into the app, leave a 5-star rating, leave a review, tell me how great it is, even if you're lying, okay? Just lie and say that the show's wonderful, even if you think it sucks. That way, the Apple algorithm and the aliens and the technology converge and they make the show more visible to more people. If you want to get in on the action and make your mark on the show, go to anchor.fm/TV's Rob is Unwoke and leave a voice message. I'll play a selection of them in future episodes. Also, if you want to come on the show and talk about something that's really pissing you off, send me a message on Twitter at TV's Rob Official. We will discuss whatever is on your mind. Special thanks to my wife and producer, Nikki. Can't do this without her. You can follow her on Twitter at DFW Radio Girly. And special thanks to executive producer Ryoga the Cat, who's been bothering me all throughout this entire episode. That's going to do it. I'm TV's Rob. We'll talk to you next week on TV's Rob is Unwoke.